What's up, world? Let me tell you about this beard growth oil I got from 12 tribes on Earth. 8 ounces of oily goodness with a nozzle that prevents sprays and spills, and soft ingredients that make it perfect addition to anyone's morning routine. From coconut to castor, all these oils are hand chosen. After using this herbal blend, the biggest thing I noticed is how soft and how strong my hair was, and how good I feel. Pick up your bottle today and make your beard the star of the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, I went back to Chat GPT and I was asking the question, did Africans sell other Africans into slavery? Because this is what is said to us all the time. And you know what? One thing I've learned in my life, and I know many of you have, if these folks are saying something, you can best believe you are not getting the entire story. It's a lot being left out. And if you don't go digging for that information, you will never know. What they're saying is partially true. Now, usually what we will get is half of the truth, like we are in this particular case, or you'll get some truth mixed with lies or just a straight up lie. Can you trust information from a people that's running around trying to stop the history from being taught, burning books and snatching books out of libraries? Can you trust information from a people that does that? Seriously, I'm being honest. Can you trust any information from them? All I have to say is anything they say, y'all, before you just automatically believe it, always look it up and find out what they're not saying. And 9 times out of 10, you're going to get information you haven't heard that they have conveniently withheld. Yes, this did happen, but they played a huge role in it happening, which they left out. And no, it's not good. So what I did was I used Chat GPT and then I went out and verified the information, and what it gave was actually accurate. But they are far from innocent in this whole thing. And you will see when you hear this answer, ladies and gentlemen. So here we go.
One African societies weren't a single unified group. Before European colonization, Africa was made up of hundreds of kingdoms, empires, and ethnic groups, many with their own languages, cultures, and governments. People identified more with their ethnic nation or kingdom, e.g., Yoruba, Akan, Igbo, Mandinka, than with a shared African identity. When warfare happened, captives were often from rival groups, not from within their own tribe. Two pre-existing systems of slavery in Africa. Yes, forms of servitude existed in Africa before Europeans arrived, but it was different from chattel slavery in the Americas. Enslaved people in African societies could sometimes marry into families, earn freedom, or hold positions of responsibility. This was not the same as the racialized, hereditary slavery Europeans later enforced. 3. The transatlantic slave trade changed everything. Starting in the 1400s, Portuguese, then Spanish, Dutch, French, and British traders created a massive demand for labor in the Americas. Some African rulers and traders sold war captives or criminals to Europeans in exchange for guns, textiles, and goods. European traders also raided coastal towns and kidnapped people directly, especially when African leaders resisted trade. 4. Coercion and exploitation. Many African rulers did not fully understand the brutality and permanence of New World slavery. Europeans exploited existing rivalries between African groups, fueling wars to capture more people. Over time, the scale of the trade devastated entire regions, leading to depopulation, political collapse, and centuries of instability. 5. Why Africans sold their own is misleading. It ignores that Africa was not a single nation selling its citizens. It was a patchwork of independent nations. It minimizes European demand, military power, and control over the trade. It oversimplifies complex historical events into a narrative that shifts blame away from the European-led slave system. This part of history is rarely taught because it disrupts the oversimplified Africans sold their own people narrative. 1. Queen Nzinga of Ndongo and Matamba, present-day Angola. Time, early to mid-1600s. Resistance negotiated with and fought against Portuguese slave traders, formed alliances with neighboring African powers to block slave raids. Impact created safe havens for escaped captives and waged guerrilla warfare for decades. 2. King Agaja of Dahomey, present-day Benin. Time, early 1700s. Resistance, initially involved in limited slave trading but later opposed European dominance, trying to shift to other trade goods like palm oil and textiles. Impact, built walls and military defenses to stop slave raids, though his successors later reversed this policy under European pressure. 3. The Asante Empire, present-day Ghana. Time, 1700s to 1800s. Resistance. While some factions traded captives, others fought to protect their people from coastal raids. Impact. The Asante army clashed with British forces multiple times to maintain sovereignty and control over internal trade. The Kingdom of Congo, present-day Angola and DR Congo. Time, late 1400s to 1600s. Resistance, King Afonso the Morn, early 1500s, wrote multiple letters to the Portuguese king protesting the illegal enslavement of free Congolese citizens. Impact, he tried to regulate contact with Europeans and protect his subjects from being kidnapped. The Oyo Empire, present-day Nigeria. Time, 1600s to 1800s. Resistance used its military power to protect certain vassal states from slave raids and maintain internal stability. Impact. Oyo leaders sometimes refused to sell war captives to Europeans, insisting on other forms of trade. 6. The Futa Toro Islamic State, present-day Senegal. Time, late 1700s. Resistance, Abdul Qadir Kane, a Muslim ruler, issued a decree banning the sale of his subjects into slavery to the French. Impact, threatened military retaliation against anyone violating this ban. 7. Palmares and other maroon communities across the Americas. Time, 1600s to 1800s. Resistance. These were African-led settlements in the Americas formed by escaped captives. Many kept contact with African coastal communities, warning them about the horrors of New World slavery. Impact. Maroons not only resisted in the Americas, but also influenced African leaders to fight against the trade. Key takeaways. Resistance happened at multiple levels: military defense, diplomatic negotiations, religious bans, and underground escape networks. European traders often responded to resistance with force, blockades, or alliances with rival states to undermine anti-slavery leaders. The narrative that Africans sold their own erases the centuries of African resistance, rebellion, and refusal that shaped the slave trade's history.
Okay, so you heard what Chat GPT said. Yes, Africans did sell other Africans into slavery, but white people were in the land when all the fighting was going on, and they were instigating the fights between the tribes in order to get more captives to enslave. See, you see that part that they left out? You see what they left out? Ladies and gentlemen, their hands are far from clean. And again, when you see someone running around here trying to quash the history, trying to obstruct it from being taught, doing everything they can to block and shield history from being taught, you can best believe they are hiding a lot of things. Never ever trust history from people that try to hide history. That's the moral of the story. So no, they are just as rotten as the Africans. And that's what they want to block you from hearing. But they were in the land when all that fight, and they instigated the fights because they were trying to get more captives at the end of the day to enslave. Does that sound like some innocent person to you? That sound like some evil, wicked, dirty, rotten, low down thing. Y'all tell me what you think about this video. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell. And I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.